Hey everyone, welcome back to Rethink Reviews on the TYT network. So a regular segment that we want to do in this show is to get a very special guest to talk about movies that inspired them or changed the way they thought about an issue or some people or a political cause, something like that. Something that I've always felt with movies and that I tried to do in the Rethink Reviews segments that I did on the Young Turks really is because I feel that movies are a tremendous educational tool, really because it's a format that we really love. It's stories, and also it allows you to follow people and get to know people that you wouldn't spend time with or follow normally. You get to be in their shoes, and when you do that, you empathize with them. You start to understand what they're going through, and that inevitably changes you, because, I mean, if you look at the Republicans, their whole idea is that they don't want to care how anybody else thinks, how they experience the world at all. I mean, I think gay marriage is a really great example. They're like, well, I don't think gay people should get married, so they can't get married. That's it. And I don't want to think about what it would be like if I was a gay person and I wanted to get married and then I had some political party or some government official say that I couldn't do it. They don't want to think about what that's like to live a life like that and have to go through that. But when you watch a movie about something like that, then you might start to understand what that struggle is. If you hate gay people and then you see maybe what gay people go through, then you would say, you know what, maybe these people do deserve, I don't know, rights? Possibly be treated like an actual human being. So anyway, what I think was great about movies is that it gives you that chance to share an experience, not only with the characters that you see on the screen, but also share an experience with all the other people who watch that movie. So our first special guest is Chris Weitz, who is a director, writer, and producer. If you've seen American Pie, he co-directed that with his brother Paul. He also directed About a Boy, which is a movie that I love, and then went on to much bigger movies like Twilight, New Moon. He directed that, as well as The Golden Compass. But his latest film is a movie called A Better Life, which is a tremendous film, which I recommend that you see. It's in select theaters now. You can see my review of it in an annotation that will appear here. And you can also watch the full interview with him, which is around 8 or 10 minutes long, which I recorded with him, and that will appear in an annotation that's going to be there. But anyway, I got to speak with him really briefly about some movies that may change the way that he thought about an issue or a certain type of people, and I think you'll be really interested in what he has to say. He's a funny guy, a cool guy. Anyway, here is part of my interview with Chris Weitz. I'm always kind of curious about, when you were younger, starting out, do you remember like movies that you saw that really changed the way you thought about a group of people, or maybe just an issue that maybe you were on the other side of and said, oh, there's another side to this? If there's anything that kind of jumps out in your mind.
Star Wars. I was very pro-Empire until I saw Star Wars, and then I realized their evil plans. Joking aside, I think an example of a film that can really make a tremendous impact is The Killing Fields. I think most people went to that movie not knowing that a country called Cambodia actually existed, and after they saw that film, it was undeniable that not only did it exist, but that something terrible had gone on there, and that they had to understand it from that point onwards. And I think it actually provoked a shift in the way that people dealt with that country. Now that's an extraordinary sort of Titanic film. There are all kinds of films that you can look at that can change people's minds. I mean, obviously the film that this sort of nods to is The Bicycle Thieves, the De Sica movie. And I think that asked for some sympathy for poor people in post-war Italy, but you could look at something like Kramer versus Kramer, which takes a very sort of hot-button issue, which was divorce at that time and broken families, and by talking about it, by concentrating on it, by actually just pointing a camera at it, provoked a national discussion which is a lot more informed than the one that had preceded it.